life's shine. You gotta be working to get the woman and the wine. Keep the beat and get your hands in the air. Shuffle it quick cause it's an African affair. To Buffalo Park and our home at St. George's. We're bringing the silverware back on the border. That's the way of the warrior. That's the way of the warrior. That's the way of the warrior. That's the everyday warrior.
Down, coming out of PE town. One drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Get to Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino shot.
Get to Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Get to Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Center Stage. No, Gary did edit in some sound effects for that as well. It sounds like an iron bar hitting my head.
It would explain everything.
I know it would.
Hollywood.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gino Spot on a Sunday. Crazy Sunday. It's we'd normally be at church.
Yes, of course we
yes,
would.
of course I
We
would. It'd be, but our feast, I spoke to the priest and he said it was fine. Father Jonathan, he said it was fine. Although I saw him in Spa the other day and he did say, it is at 149 Fordyce Road, Gino. I was like,
It's
I know.
down the road.
I know, Father John. I know. I'm a bad Catholic. But we got Buli and Robin on tonight today. You'll be watching this on Tuesday night. So happy Tuesday to you if you're watching on Tuesday. Otherwise, a lovely Sunday morning.
Yes,
And we're talking about curl up and dye today. Just a quick thank you to our sponsors, Fitch and Leeds, who have been with us since the beginning.
Yes.
Buli, since the top. And they've got a new immune booster. That's right. That Robin's tried out.
We can't get sick.
I know. It's got 500 milligrams of vitamin C and zinc in it.
Wow.
So it's very good for you and no caffeine. But then you got a coffee as well. So
Yes.
you haven't
To just replenish the caffeine after.
And so thank you to Fitch and Leeds, and obviously our internet, Nicola and the guys from Amobia always help us out. And then every Tuesday, Grace brings us a plate of food for our show as well from Fat Cats. So thank you to Grace from Fat Cats too.
I love
All right.
Grace's food.
Oh no, she's brilliant, but she's just a lovely person. I love her because she's always so kind and
She's
giving.
lovely.
She said to me, "Come on, we got to get you some food for the show," and she's brought every single Tuesday. There she is, Fat Cats, and Olga Williams saying hello as well. Hello, Olga. Lovely to see you as well. And I see some friends of Buli's as well. Thomas is there. Hello, Thomas.
Thomas van Bleiswijk.
From Bleiswijk,
Nederland.
from the Nederland. Hello from the Nederland. Lovely to have you on all the way over the seas. If we say it was so
Over
funny.
the seas.
Over the seas, they say Afrikaans is like an early form of obviously it's the early form of Dutch. So
Yes.
so they make these words like motorreis. A motorreis in Afrikaans is a garage.
Caravan.
It's a garage. Like a motorreis.
Motorreis.
It's a huisie for the motor. It's a motorreis is a garage.
Okay, garage.
Or you say huisbak.
Yes.
Huisbak is a lift, but
Yes.
they say lift. So we say what is lift? They say, there's a huisbak. Out the huiser in the bucket of the samen weg.
I don't know what she just said. Rebecca.
Neither do I.
Huisbak or a motorreis. We've got extra stuff with Afrikaans.
I'm sure the listeners, viewers know what
Look,
you're
Denise
talking
is
about.
in Italy.
The Italy.
Oh.
Denise, Denise, you are in Italy. You are. Damn you, Denise.
I am a little jelly. I'm a little jelly. I won't
Please
lie.
go and visit my. If you are in Verona,
Harrison,
Harrison
my
as well.
Harry.
That is fantastic.
Harry.
Harrison is absolute
He's
legend as
coming.
well.
He's coming, and then one of the nights bringing
Yeah.
all the I don't know how many kids.
Oh, right.
15 or
Oh,
something like
excellent.
that.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
And Denise, if you are in Verona, Verona, my family is in Verona. Go say hello to Silvia and Federico. They are all in Verona, which is. I need to go. I need to
Italy.
get there. Isn't it? Hey? And
I
food.
haven't been to Italy. I must be honest, but I have friends there now, so there's an excuse.
Oh my God,
Yes.
Buli, you will love it. You will love it. And the food. You're going to gain like 20, 30 kilos.
Oh,
yeah,
I tell you what.
Bottom of the bucket list. Don't eat that
Best
rock. I'm not about to go on
tomato.
stage, Gino.
Best tomato. Best mozzarella.
Okay, that's more healthy.
And, you know, and the Parma ham.
Oh,
yes,
yes.
And the things like that. I mean, but even on the like if you go on the road, you know, you there's Philippa as well saying hello. She's probably watching upstairs. Yeah, about 50
I want to
meters
go
away.
to Amalfi Coast.
Amalfi Coast. What is whereabouts is
I don't know, but I see the pictures. It's like a scenic drive.
Oh
Yeah.
man, well you know it's and at the moment it's
See
summer
that
there.
quite often.
Yeah.
It needs to come to
has to
fruition.
happen.
Yes, I think maybe we should do a tour. We'll do a show.
Ooh.
We'll go.
I'm not sure we'll sell tickets, but let's do it.
I don't know. We can do some ABBA music, perhaps some ABBA music. Segue.
No, whatever happens, Robs needs to direct it. I don't trust you.
So don't forget as well, please. We've got our ABBA show coming up Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday this week, people. So if you haven't got your tickets, get them straight
And
away.
I can't go and see it. Why?
Why? Because you've
Why?
got a show on as well.
We've
Yeah.
got curl up and down.
So make sure you support that as well. And when that's full, you can come to ABBA.
Pretty much.
Because
We'll see the next one.
oh,
Yes.
no,
And I'm sure you'll come again.
yeah, no, we will absolutely. And now tell me about the show because I am completely clueless. I know it's at Isithatha
Yes.
and it's curl up and down and makes me think of hair.
Yes.
Okay.
DYE.
All right, DYE.
Do
Curl
Do
up
I
and down.
start or do you
No,
start?
go for it, Robs. You
All
are
right.
the doyen. Do it.
Yes.
So, not to bring this down because I'm not down.
Yes.
As you know, my husband did pass away early
Yes.
this year.
Yes.
And my theatre friends just came around me and said, "You in sitting in a corner weeping."
Oh, shit.
And
Okay.
there's been
Okay.
this lift up,
So that,
and they said, "Do a show."
Mm.
And
Okay,
so
okay.
I thought, "Ooh, I'd like to do a South African one.
Yeah.
It's been years since I've done one. Curl up and dive, I've taught it for years.
yeah.
And so I thought, let's do it. But I said, I'm not doing it without the best.
Yes.
Yeah,
Excellent.
the casting is something
So
else. She
who's
must
in the
tell
cast?
you.
Who's in the cast? Yeah.
Okay,
tell
so
us.
Buli
Yes.
is playing, she's the catalyst,
Okay.
her character.
Yeah.
She's educated, she is dignified, she arrives at the hairdresser is the salon is like trailer trash characters. They're really rough.
Okay.
They're rough.
Okay.
And because it's set in the 80s,
Yeah.
yes, there's racism.
Yeah.
Yes, there's language.
Okay.
Yes, there's gender-based violence in the background, but it's presented in such a clever way that it's funny.
Yeah.
So you're laughing like crazy, inappropriately as
Of
hell.
course. Yes.
Mhm.
But that gives you pause to think.
Yeah.
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 And it holds up a mirror
Yeah.
because as great comedians would say to you, one of the great comedy tricks is that people, when they recognize things
Yes.
on stage, they laugh at that.
Of course.
They laugh at what they know.
The nostalgia and you see what you see inside that you've observed yourself.
Yeah.
That's the stuff when you look back to that stuff and it's like, oh yes, oh, and remember that.
Can't
remember
believe
that
I
person.
said that.
I can't believe that person. I remember that happening, you know, and it's true. It's true.
And it's hard for Niqui Cloete-Barrass.
Yeah.
Because Nikki's character is
She's
probably she's rough.
Oh my God! What?
But you know, Nikki's so talented. She does the rough well, eh?
She is.
I mean, no one else can pull it off. Let's face it.
I know.
She really does it well. And
Niqui said that theatre background as well, which is also.
She studied it literally right up until the top of her game. Yeah.
Well, her and Daryl, I remember them coming from East London at the time.
And then Grahamstown, where they studied under people like Andrew Buckland.
Yes,
the best.
Amazing.
The best. And then she's in our town, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And she teaches she took my job.
Yes, you took take your job.
I'm not old, but I am retired.
I'm not old.
She took my job.
Okay.
And then she was dying to do a good meaty piece. And I gave her the script.
Yes.
And she said yes. And then she said yes. Then Buli said yes. Then I said, okay, we're going somewhere. And then I approached Mariloe and Blom, as we call her. We love our Blom. Blom
Very gifted
is
girl.
such a great actress.
Okay.
She is, she studied Wits, I think. But she's worked all over the world.
What you doing down here?
It's a long story. She got it ill at the end of last year. She was running. She's a runner.
Yes.
She was running. She got taken ill and had to have surgery.
Wow.
So she was in PE. An international movie and TV person.
Okay.
And she said, I auditioned for you. And I went, no, you're in it.
Yeah, okay. Excellent.
No, you're in.
Well, so you knew her as well from before too. Okay.
And then we had Kerry Lee.
Yes.
Allen, who is awesome, and she's got her honours in drama. She used to teach at the Oprah Winfrey School.
Oh wow!
And she's in PE.
Okay.
And then our baby is Georgia Jo Palmer.
Okay. Georgina.
Georgina.
Yes, she's so gifted, Georgina. She's just such a perfect casting because the lead is this very feminine and tender person, but in just the most horrible circumstances.
Oh no!
Very gifted young girl. Not girl. She's a woman.
Yes. She is a woman.
It's Women's Day as well. It's just been done. Happy Women's Day to both of you. You know.
So I also want to add to what Robs has said. I mean, it's a phenomenal cast, definitely, but I think it's a very brave play. Hey, very brave. Set in the late 80s in Joburg. And at the time when I grew up, I was actually in the late 80s.
Yes, me too.
The grey areas were starting, right?
Yes, of course.
And this play made big news then because it was so controversial and just so timely. Yeah. And one of the things Rob said when she called me, when she told me the play, I was like, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. I definitely want to do it because of what it is, right? But also she said to me she thinks it's very relevant today as much as it was very controversial for them. It's very relevant today. So I think if anything, people watch it for that reason, because it's incredibly powerful. You know, we've had friends of the theatre and friends of Robin who won't be able to attend the actual play. Come now, don't ask us to have you watch it before the run, but we've had a few of Robin's friends who had to be abroad who came and they watched like one or two people, and they literally were, I won't say, they were dumbfounded at the end of it. Some people were in complete tears, and mind you, this is a comedy, so you will be moved.
Sure. Yeah. So give us a little bit of a synopsis, a little bit of a thing.
So it's set in a really down and out hairdressing salon.
Okay.
In Joburg, in Joburg Park.
Joburg Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is obviously, when you see the setting, it is very much been there for 20 odd years. Okay. So it's a mixture of 60s, 70s, 80s.
The decor and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And because we're setting it in a thrust stage.
Yeah.
Now, thrust is when the audience is all the way around.
Okay.
And
They see everything.
Yeah, all
You
right.
have to shower twice
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
before the show.
It's like that
And we're
close.
literally, there's only 3 rows of seating,
Yes.
all raked, so
Yes.
the audience can see beautifully.
Okay.
And
But very
it's
intimate.
very immersive.
Yeah.
So
Intimate.
literally, the cast is sitting like here,
Yes.
and you're looking into their face.
So they're almost waiting for their haircut.
So what happens in it is that Rolene is running it. Miriam, who is literally from the township, but back then it would have been called the location, the location.
Yeah, location.
Okay, yeah. And she is your every woman.
Yes.
Okay.
She is your Black South African every woman with a husband who's drowning in the bottle because he has no employment, he has no ability, and we laugh a lot at the circumstances, although they're sad.
Yes.
She's got 3 kids she's trying to put through school on 250 Rand a month.
Yeah.
And she's a beautiful character, amazing character.
Right.
And actually, we finished rehearsing the other day, and Bloom just burst into tears. She just cried and cried and cried.
Okay, we cry a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's very emotional.
This sounds like a therapy session for all of you as well.
Yes, I've got in my notes on the program. I've said, let the catharsis begin.
Yes.
But
I mean,
so one of her permanent clients is Mrs. Dubois, who's really rough.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now come Rolene. Come on now, my sis man, Rolene man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So that's Nikki's role.
Okay.
And then there's Charmaine.
Oh, Charmaine.
And Charmaine walks the streets and works the
night.
streets.
Oh, a lady of the night.
A lady of the night.
Lordy.
These women who, if you actually analyze each character, each one has such problems in their private life that they're trying to survive, even the worst of them.
That's hilarious. Ironically, however, Gary Hemmings, the one, voice
Character.
of sanity, I would say, who also has personal problems, but actually comes from the rural area.
Yes.
And if you know much about South African history, those areas were very mixed because they were called homelands, right?
Of course, yes.
And there was nothing really there to speak of in the way of extreme racism and exclusion.
Yeah.
And off she goes to the big city, and she's working there now as a nurse, and comes across this hairdresser, which is in her hood, in the grey area, her neighborhood, and is just, she's rubbernecking at some of the things that are happening in this place because it's just
so different from.
It's like she descends into Dante's Inferno.
So yes, Gary, very well cast as the more stable of the lot.
Oh, very good.
Because his chirp was,
Can we share a moment from her character
on the show.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll share a moment. I think that the funniest moment is when the 2 Black women start to converse. It's very telling about their backgrounds.
Yeah.
So the Miriam, who works at the salon, is a pivotal. She's like one of the main characters, and she's busy washing my hair as a new customer.
Okay.
She's washing my hair and judging me for living outside the township.
Yes.
And she's explaining the circumstances in the town. Even though there's all of this unrest, you should be there. That's where you belong. And when you're finished being white, come and just come and you must come and visit me there in the township. That kind of thing. And that interaction between the 2 of them is so interesting. I said to Robs the other day, this play is a dance of bigotry. People accept each other and they do the social niceties. Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
And then they judge each other because that's what we did back then, isn't it? We judge each other because privileges were given to some and not to others. And as funny as those moments are, they're also so tragic because you judge each other and the next thing, no, I find something in common with you. So they'll all laugh about the fact that men are dogs in their lives, right?
Yes.
As you are.
Yes.
And
As
then,
we are.
except the single ones who are looking for someone like me. Those are not dogs. But so we laugh about the situation with men. Even with the most racist character, I laugh about men with.
Yeah.
But then when it switches, and I don't want to give too much away, then it becomes something else. It becomes really like you almost cannot believe how people are viewing this circumstance.
The judgment, the prejudging.
Yes.
And so it's interesting to say that it was the late 80s because, we remember the late, I remember the late 80s. It was matric.
I had my kids
88, I was a matric, and I remember that change. 89, the ANC was unbanned.
Yes.
And then it started, then that whole thing. So it's just almost before the big changes.
Absolutely.
The big changes.
It was the time of the mass action.
Yeah, Steve Biko, it was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so it was at such an explosive time that it also could have gone the wrong way.
I think you mean Honey, because we go much earlier.
I'm sorry,
Honey, yes.
Honey, Chris
I was
Honey.
thinking-
Sorry, with Johannes Wallace. Yeah.
It's
Chris.
it's on the cusp of all of those things.
Yeah.
Which all made us, we were all hopeful, but it all made us like sit on the edge of our seats thinking, okay, what next? But imagine who can tell the story best. Women are great because they're vulnerable and there's not much there's no like violence. They're probably victims of it most of the time. But they really absorb their environment. So you can meet all of these women and think to yourself, okay, they really are victims of circumstance, but also telling the story so beautifully with
You
laughter
strike a
and
woman, you
tears.
strike a rock.
There we go.
Yeah.
It really is, and that's the time.
And it gives an idea of society at the time. So it's almost like a representation at that time.
It's a peek back.
Yeah.
And I know that, for instance, Alexander Rhodes, Theodore Herzl, Pearson, VP are all bringing block bookings. Because this is a play
it's a good one for
we
them.
study.
Yeah.
We study it in grade 11 when we study the white liberation movement. Because these plays were actually written so that white people could see what racism looked like. Paul Slabolepsy, Sue Pam-Grant, Dion Opperman, all those guys who were writing plays to show South Africa what they looked like. They were at the tip of the spear, spear of the nation.
Sure.
And I know that Gary actually was responsible for bringing the production to PE originally.
Yes.
And it is known as a tragic comedy. It is. It's not.
She was in it herself.
Yes, she played Berlin.
in the show.
And they just recently done it, and she played Mrs. Dubois.
Oh, really?
Time has passed.
Yeah. But it's just also like looking at that time and then also hopefully looking at how far we've come since then and how far to go still.
Look, Gino. Yes, we've come far. But I also think that it's nice to hold up a mirror, and this does it so beautifully.
Yeah.
And it's for all South Africans to hold up a mirror. This is an incredibly multicultural cast.
Yeah.
The young Mariloe Booysen, she's a young coloured lady. It's myself.
Yeah.
It's Niqui, it's Georgina. It's really a multicultural cast and Kerry. And what I like about it is that there's a little something of everybody in there, but also you can actually, even though we've come a long way in changing things.
Yeah, there's so much more here. Yeah.
Especially because of the kind of women we're showing here. So you've got your professional woman, you've got your woman who's a domestic working inside your home environment. We've got a woman who owns a business. We've got a woman who has no option but to sell her body. There are things you will, and I'm not talking about people prostituting themselves more than when, women maybe who take wealthy men as boyfriends because they have to survive. Those are all things people can identify with. It's terrible to say it like that, but it's the truth. It's a reality.
Yeah.
And it's very, very interesting. Go for it, Robs.
What I was going to say is because of this, we took a unanimous decision to support Betchikun.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
In my
Betchikun.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
I've actually sent Gary an advert for them.
Mhm.
They actually, on this week, the 15th, will have been running for 20 years.
20 years, yes.
20 years was the first time they took their drug-addicted lady off the streets.
Okay. So
Two
it actually
ladies.
does that. Okay.
So we've donating 10%
Of the proceeds.
our
Yeah.
proceeds
Oh, that's magic.
to them.
Yeah.
And they're going to be there. on
Fantastic.
opening
Well,
night.
it ties in well because last week on Gino's Spot on Tuesday we had Kelly, Kelly Rose, who heads up the human trafficking,
Oh, yeah.
story.
I saw that.
and
She's
that ties in so
shattered.
much. Shattering shackles, yeah.
Yes, I saw that.
And they work trying to catch these guys that are actually doing this stuff and trying to free the victims.
Yeah.
She said if they can get to the victims to get them out, she said that is the prime. That is the best. That's the A grade goal. If they can get that, they're
Amazing.
happy.
Well,
Because
Betchikun
has the same thing.
pre-primaries. So the women are able to have their children looked after.
Yes.
They educate them so they can get a
Brilliant.
job. They educated on computers.
Okay.
They taught how
Tools.
to
To
actually
get back on their feet.
their feet.
Yeah.
And we just, as a community doing theatre, we wanted to find a place that was completely kosher.
Yeah.
And when we found them, if you
Yeah.
actually look them up online, they've got interviews with the ladies
Lovely.
who have a new life.
Yes,
They've got
yes.
interviews with the teachers who are working with them. It's an amazing
I love
haven. Yeah.
Because if we're going to build this city, if we're going to get things going properly, all those things need to be sorted. You need to get
100%.
and people, the power of people, then together. Just put it, like you're saying, if you get to 4, 5, 6 of these people and they join together and they all have got that same sort of view, so much can be done. Like as a group, you can do so much. So that groundswell, that's fantastic.
And you don't only want to do it in Women's Month.
Yeah, I know.
This is something-
It's just fortuitous
No.
that this fell here.
Yes,
Within
okay.
this period. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it wasn't on purpose that you did it.
Wow.
In a way,
Yes.
because I wanted to do something. My mom actually put me now. I keep bringing us down.
Bring
No,
them
no,
up.
no,
I
it's
like to
fine.
talk about the mothers.
Yes, my mom actually passed away on the very first 9th of August.
Women's Day.
Which
celebration.
is-
Women's Day. Okay.
It's quite a month for me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something to reflect my admiration for all of us. I was involved in the very first vagina monologues. I do love being a woman.
Yeah,
I do
yes.
love the fact that
You're one of the strong ones, Robin.
No, my moments. Hey, don't we all?
I'm sure.
We all do. But if you do, and theatre is the most incredible. If you look back at the fight against apartheid, the liberation movement, you go right back to the beginning of last century. You've got black theatre, you've got white theatre, which was English and Afrikaans. In the 60s with Sharpeville, they started feeling each other out.
Okay.
In the 70s, they started working together. And they really were the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
They were the spear, part of the spear of the nation.
The early
in
guys
those
were
days.
taking risks because our government was so draconian.
Well, they didn't have
like a ridiculous
Understatement.
the understatement
they
of the year.
didn't have a political platform, so they used the theatrical platform.
Yeah.
So it has a really...
Because the secret police didn't understand what thieves.
Didn't. No, they didn't.
So it's
So Women's Month, going back to Women's Month.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not going to pretend there's a deep reason that I agree. Like I needed to do a procedure, an aesthetic procedure, and within the 6-week period, I thought how perfect if I do this and fit it into that period. So I'm actually in recovery, and I'm so glad that I have this amazing project to do in the meantime.
I'm looking all over you now, trying to see you.
Not as drastic as you did not nip or tuck anything.
Right, okay.
This is literally, but yeah, I wanted to also say that it was fortuitous because I thought how perfect it is for Women's Month.
Yeah.
The biggest issue we have today in modern day South Africa is gender-based violence, and gender-based violence, and the biggest theme in the play is that.
Okay.
Can you believe it?
And that's the thread that ties all the women together, which is what makes Beth Shakum such a right choice for a charity to benefit from this play.
Yes.
They do great work, because sometimes the victims aren't victims of trafficking; they're victims of their own homes and their own environments.
Yes, of course. They're trapped by societal things. So it's not. It's almost like this. You've been squashed by a marshmallow almost, because this, it's like this huge societal thing that pushes down and pressure, and you don't realize because it's all soft around you. You might have this in your own personal environment might be very hectic, but there is soft forces that just the way people speak,
it's like a precious.
The way people speak, the way people think, and the way they joke around and they think. I've certainly over been a comedian as well. I'm aware of those things. When you go into a corporate situation and the woman in the corporates, and they take the jokes and they take the things, but you think to yourself, hey, that's really a little bit offsides, and it's so like I had this idea that this sort of vision, these marshmallows squashing you and battling to breathe.
I understand now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was going to say, that's so well spotted, because women are great actresses.
They are.
We have to juggle balls.
We have to put on
masks. Kids.
Yes, man, you shouldn't worry about that, man. He's just joking, man. He's just joking around.
If he's not killing you,
exactly.
Boys always push little girls around if they like them.
Yeah, of course they do. Yes.
I wanted to just say, it's so interesting because we're living in this woke society, which I hate wokeness.
Yes.
I hate wokeness. Pardon me. When the play was done originally, it was very unwoke.
Yeah.
It really was. And when Sue Pam-Grant did it about 2 or 3 years ago, they woke it up.
Okay, woke it
up. They rewrote the script.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yes,
because for the time, it would have been very woke.
Yeah.
But for now, it would have expired. Its wokeness would have expired.
So what we have done is go back to the original piece.
Okay, wow.
So
it's quite hard hitting.
It's hard hitting.
It must be like, is this okay? Is this whole thing okay?
Every day we ask each other that.
Do you discuss that sort of thing as well?
There is a point at which you rehearsed something 8 times and the same swear word is said, and you have to ask yourself,
is this really necessary?
It's hard because some words are hard to hear.
Yes, they are.
But we had to really think about it for its art.
Yeah.
And do the work.
It's got to hit hard.
It must shock
and do the work.
So if you're going to clean it up, you're actually just doing the work.
You're not.
So what am I like to work with?
Rob's is great, man. Rob's is great. Okay.
Oh, she is.
Little known secret, but I've always wanted to work with Rob's. The time just wasn't right. I remember initially we were supposed to do a musical. I think it must have been Little Shop of Horrors, about a decade.
Right? You were going to be in it.
Who are you going to be? See what? Were you
going to be
a plant. I think it was going to be a plant. You're right.
So there was an almost, and then I moved to Joburg. Then when I came back in 2010, I changed directions, but. When Alan became ill, Rob's husband, it was really just a matter of saying, okay, maybe it won't happen, but you know what? It's one of those things. So when the call came, I was like,
this is it.
This is it. I'm doing it because it felt right. The actual play itself was right. I felt for me because I recognized it. Yeah. You've lived a long time if you remember when the first one ran. Yeah, Jesus. And So it just felt right. So I waited a long time, and what a pleasure, because working with Rob's is like she creates such a lovely environment.
She does.
It's a very positive environment.
Yes.
It is a very conducive to feeling comfort, to be open to learn. Yeah, but the standards are high, of course.
Yeah, yes.
But I enjoy it, and also, I don't know how she manages 5 women, to be honest. But dynamics with women are very interesting.
Yes,
but we're
yes.
all professionals. We're there to do a good job. But at the same time, she does that so well.
Yes.
She gives
Yes.
people opportunities.
Well, I
to weigh
see
in,
lots of patience, not so much patience.
That's why she's the director.
I know.
You know what? You don't get anything out of people by yelling at you.
Yeah,
No,
of course. Yeah.
It is the more you love,
Yeah.
the more it grows. And I
Yes,
do
yes.
believe, even in the most serious theatrical environments in the world, the more people are gentled
Yeah.
into a performance, the more comfortable
Yes.
they feel doing what they have to do.
Well, I've worked with you before, and I know that she
No,
is,
you get
she
beaten up.
She gets but she's so patient with me, and I know that she allows that creativity to
Yes,
come through. So she
yes.
gives you your own space as well.
She does, but she has mentioned, Gino, in particular, that
We're talking about she, the cat's mother.
Robin has mentioned that you're a special case in the sense
Yes.
that working with you stretches her.
I'm sure.
And that's the diplomatic definition.
It's the ADD.
Gino, you are not in grade 1.
That's
Got to
funny.
learn
That's
your
hilarious,
script.
really.
You have to learn the script. You can't just wing it. But Buli's much more focused, and I know Niqui is very focused.
Yes.
So you're working with a focused bunch of people there.
Yeah.
Let's tell them where they can.
Yes. Oh, there we go. The dates for the shows. Where can we get tickets? And what are the dates?
Of course. If you go on to www.isithatha.co.za,
That's it.
There we go. Curl up and die.
you will find how to book tickets. Remember, there are only 80 seats per night. And opening night is sold out. The second show is almost sold out,
Wow, yeah.
which is amazing.
It's fantastic.
And what was I going to say?
No, so
it's 120 Rand a ticket.
Yeah.
And
cheap
it's
at the price.
cheap at the price.
Yes.
And we are going to we've got a coffee shop there.
Yes.
With cake.
It's beautiful.
Come early. There's
I love that place. It's
gorgeous. And there's a fire pit outside. And
lovely.
a well-stocked bar.
Yes.
And so come early. Come in. And please don't come dressed for the theatre. Pretend you are at the National Arts Festival. Bring a blankie if you want it.
Warm.
Because typical Robs, we're using all the windows, all the doors, characters coming in from everywhere.
My word. Okay.
Yeah. It's gonna test your survival skills in winter. But I
Don't forget with the lights, it's warmer.
I'm teasing. I wanted to say, we've been rehearsing, and part of it is because it's a thrust state. Now, I have never personally done a show in a thrust formation like that, but
so
I have
around the
seen.
sides. That's what
So it is. Imagine this is the door, and then there is a rectangle, and around it are all the chairs, and they're in sort of like almost like a grandstand, but not. They're comfortable chairs, 3 rows on either side.
Okay.
So literally, if I am having my hair washed in that corner, you are sitting next to me.
Sure.
And the water is literally splashing.
Oh, my soul. Okay, so it's really close.
Completely
very close.
immersive.
And we've had to, have some people sitting, staring at us because you can't be intimidated. You're in character, you have to continue. It's very intimate.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways Robs has, started to train us. We actually are going to start having more bodies in the audience because it is close quarters. It is kneecap to kneecap at some points where you're acting and that's an audience member and you can't. You're looking into a mirror, so you
it's
can't.
invisible mirrors all the way around.
Yeah.
So they'll be looking at a character behind them, but in the mirror.
So have you got the things?
There's nothing there.
So it's
all
just, but they're talking as if it's a mirror.
Yes.
Oh, and it's like.
Something like that.
And you've got Miriam.
Better make sure those nostrils are all clear.
And Miriam going.
That's fantastic. And the rehearsal process. I mean, how did you guide people? What do you start with?
Well, I had to have it drawn on paper. Kerry, you have a picture on your phone of what it looked like in
Really?
my
the mind.
imagination. And then I
Okay.
had to get my imagination into their imagination.
Yes.
So if you look at the actual setting, Gary is putting it
He's
up
gonna
on
load
the
it
screen
now.
He'll
now.
load it up.
This picture you're going to see now is what the actors are seeing, what they call the mise en scène, which is what we see as actors.
Oh, there we go.
So we see from the door of Isithatha, you see the two counters, and you look into this little rectangular hole in the wall.
Okay.
That
and then the seats down the side.
And the seats are down the side and round the back.
Front,
So where the black is around the sides, that's where the audience is. But there are no mirrors. There's nothing.
Yes.
That is all imagination.
Which is and it's lovely the way once you've got the audience to believe that that's a mirror, then you play with that whole thing.
Absolutely. They can be looking out over the audience, but looking at that angle because they're watching someone behaving badly there. And looking like this at them. You know that place. And it's challenging because hair is actually done on stage.
Okay.
And it's back in the 80s.
Free haircuts.
So it's teased.
Well, mine doesn't get teased, but
Hers gets washed
the
on
80s,
stage.
it was the late.
Hers gets washed on stage and oiled. So she gets a massage for a long time.
Have you ever fallen asleep?
I'll try and stay awake. I'll try and stay awake.
Trying very hard. And I must tell you, we've got genuine scopes on stage.
Scope? You mean
Scope
the magazines?
And You magazine.
Because they mentioned the
Scope with the stars.
So we found a wonderful
how do you know?
store.
Oh, I remember that.
We found a store called Joe's Garage.
Yes.
Which divine store.
Joe's Garage, yes.
And they sell CDs and vinyls and magazines and newspapers.
Records.
And we bought 2 scopes there. And so we've got scopes. We've got you from the period. We've got...
it should be family radio and TV.
Oh, gosh, I never thought of that.
What was it? The
yes.
family radio and TV was the
when was
one
the
with all the TV guys.
Yes.
Yeah. And then that just became You. I think that became You magazine, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I remember Fair Lady.
Yes. Oh, yes.
They talk about Bob TV.
Oh, Bob TV, yes.
No, Bob TV was only available in the black areas.
Okay, yes.
So Miriam, who basically her job is to sweep up the hair, although she probably knows more than Rolene, who runs the joint.
Yeah.
And she's the one who's really like, they're 3 episodes ahead of everybody else. So she keeps trying to tell them, and we get, spoiler alert.
Spoiler. I love it, but it's nostalgic in a way.
Oh, yes.
A lot of nostalgia.
But it's always. I always feel it's never like it was so good in the old days, because there were so many shit things about the old days. I mean, not even ignoring the elephant in the room, which was apartheid and the whole thing.
Absolutely,
everything is improved. People's the way they live their lives is improved. Everything's improved, but you don't realize. So, but the nostalgia is still there. You still look back and think, "Oh, they do swipe nice."
The nostalgia,
but there are also Miriams still in many black families.
Yes.
Ladies who work for very little. And I saw a wonderful program at the National Arts Festival many years ago. It was called A Man and His Dog. Most incredible actor. It was all on his own on stage. Afterwards, my students and I just sat around him and drank in his insights. But he said, there are so many families where men walk around impregnating women and leaving them with a child to survive. And then off they go. And this is something that we're really having to tackle in South Africa. Are these one mother
families, little
where all they do is trying to survive.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so many
On a small
issues.
salary, trying, and they've got the child, and then
And then the
where's it
granny
go?
has to look after the child,
Yeah.
and it's really unfair stuff.
I just, and it's such a thing in South Africa. It's always been that. I just saw the guy who won the 4x100 relay, the silver medal. What an amazing race! And there's two guys, the two younger guys. The one's still at school, and he's saying like, "Hey, when they come into school, it's gonna be yeah."
Can you believe it's in the track?
I know, that's crazy.
That's very cool.
It is.
It's
And the other guy is saying, he says, he's thank you to God, and I want to say hello. Who does he say hello to? My grandfather, my granny.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about your parents?
Oh.
No. It's grandpa and granny that are most important in his life.
Of course.
Isn't that, how many times has that happened?
Yeah.
I think memorable moments.
Yes, memorable moments
From
for
the actual process.
From the process, yeah.
I remember, I think one of the most moving was when we went through everything for the first time.
Yeah.
And Mariloe just burst into tears. She was sobbing from her gut. Do you remember? She was
I remember.
sobbing. And Niqui was hugging her, and we were all,
Yeah.
Everybody was crying. We
Oh,
had
my God, I'm
we had a
sure.
few of the crew in the audience that day as well, and they were crying.
Well, it was,
Everybody was crying.
we're becoming aware
Mm.
of parents,
Yeah.
grandparents,
Yes.
what they went through.
Yeah.
On
Yes.
whichever side of the fence
Yeah,
one
yeah,
was.
yeah.
And there's Mariloe sobbing. And Niqui said to her, "You are speaking for a whole people.
Yeah.
You are the voice of the
Yeah.
every woman."
Yeah.
And you know what? I know it makes you cry.
Yeah.
Because, it's funny most of the time.
Yeah.
But when it does explode,
Yes.
it's a kind of glorious explosion because you want the person to stand up
Yeah.
for what is going on.
Yeah, you want reality to win.
Yeah.
The beautiful part about the play that, when it ends, obviously you're left with your thoughts to decide for yourself, right? But the special part about it is that it doesn't end on some, okay, this is our lives, this is it. It ends on a disruption. So that for me is what makes it so special.
Yeah.
So that is what provokes all of the emotion. Whereas in between, you sort of like not sure who to like, and then you like the baddie, and then you don't like them when they turn and they become something you're not. It's very, you can't hate the extreme racists, which is weird, but then you also can't help but hate them when it's just, it tugs at your emotions at every point, but it ends.
Pulls you this way. and
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It ends in the way that it really should in those circumstances.
Yeah. Niqi's character as the extreme racist is also living
Very
hell.
lovable.
Yeah.
Her child,
Very lovable racist, I must just tell you.
her child is 19, but has the mind of a 2-year-old. So she is now lugging this child in and out of the bath to the toilet. And so that's in the background. But the story is told in such a funny way because he has been run over by a truck, through the robots. Just went right through the robot. Yeah. And Shane is dying now for the 3rd time. Because
Don't give the whole script away. Another memorable rehearsal moment.
It's the only country where we say robots because everybody else is like, robots. Oh, okay, we've got robots.
Guys, the hair salon setting, look at it.
So that setting is it's one setting throughout, and it takes you on that journey through the people.
And we've got a working hairdryer, the hood one.
Okay, all right.
We've got working water.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got working kettle. We use
lots of coffee made.
Wasn't
any bubbly in those days.
Oh, right. Not for you.
Coffee, cigarettes, but not real cigarettes because they're not allowed to.
Lexington.
But Andre
Lexington.
Mulder, shout out to Andre Mulder from the health shop.
Yes.
He actually makes these cigarettes for people who are getting off smoking.
Okay.
So they're made from rose petal, clover, marshmallow, all sorts of ingredients. But apparently, I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
But it does smell like grass. But I wouldn't know.
I don't know what that smells like.
But you know what? We've used it ever since 2000 on stage.
Yeah.
So I quite like the smell.
Yeah.
It's kind of familiar and feels theatrical. When I was doing Equus,
Yes.
and we took it to the National Arts Festival, we bought a huge packet of tobacco because we were using it in the show.
Yeah.
And my props lady was stopped on the way to Grahamstown by the cops.
Because it's
Fortunately, she had the slip from the shop
to show
that it wasn't grass.
How unlucky is
Well,
that?
going into Grahamstown, hello.
She must have looked like a goofball. I just see there's a comment there with I see Lynn
Harrison.
Williams saying hi Lynn, and Harrison.
Just so incredibly excited to see the show. Can't wait to see you on stage.
Yes.
Yay!
Well done.
Thanks. He's the best.
Excited
best
to be
friend.
Maranatha kids. That's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. It will spark a conversation.
Yeah.
For me, what's been memorable, particularly with rehearsals, is that
Trisha!
you've got your. Oh, it's just saying hi. I'm watching that as well.
But feels, yes.
I was going to say what's memorable about rehearsals is you've got your women who obviously lived through the time, like myself and Niqui, who are closer to this age, and Kerry Lee, who's slightly younger. Yeah. And then you've got those who would have had no clue in terms of what this time would have been like, who are much younger. And when you were saying you matriculated in the late 80s, I was like, well, okay, I was early 90s, but at that time, these kids weren't even born, some of them. They're young women now, and they're part of the cast. So I think it's interesting to see the different reactions because the emotion runs across the board, whether you lived in that time or didn't. Yeah. So that's what's memorable for me.
I think the absurdity of the time comes across so well too. I mean, I remember my parents buying white bread and brown bread.
Yeah.
White bread for us, brown bread for the maid.
For the maid.
I remember.
Isn't that insane? It's probably much healthier than brown bread.
My father had taken me as a little toddler in the car to take the lady who worked for us to the bus stop so she wouldn't have to walk. Yeah. But there'd be an immorality problem if he was caught on his own in the car. So I was safe.
Yeah.
You know, I could be there.
Yeah.
I mean, the absurdity of different benches.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we've even given up in our acting space. Yeah. Because
don't tell them everything.
No stage, no stage. There's black side and white side.
Yeah.
Don't tell them everything.
She's excited about it. That's why. Yes. And the dynamics between the onstage female characters.
I'd like to start on.
And what about offstage? Are you getting on?
Okay, let me tell you. In the beginning, obviously, there's a first act and a second act. And as the catalyst, I'm only in act 2, right?
Okay.
So at the start, which I don't know if it was deliberate, but very clever from Robin's part, is that they obviously had to get act 1 first down and then move on to act 2. So by the time I arrived, there were already bonds.
All right.
And in a way, it works because you want the catalyst to feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, okay.
And everybody's already, gotten to know each other. It's already,
Another housewives.
Yeah. Don't get me started about those. No, the betrayals are not real life betrayals. Right. Let's move on. But that's what I love about things like reality TV is that if it's reality, people eventually add 2 and 2 together because you have to go back to your normal life. Yes. And if you're going to lie on screen, it shows.
It shows up.
Yeah, I love it. But in terms of this, what was interesting was that when I joined, it was like, oh my word, they've already formed bonds. Okay, now, and then we slowly began working on Act 2, which was really great. And now that Act 2 has been the place where all of the emotion is, I think it fast became the place that everybody was like, oh my word, this thing is powerful. It's now all put together. We've done one stretch where we did an entire rehearsal with a small audience of the crew. And there's still, now we're at the final stages of rehearsal. We're rehearsing later today as well. And we're at that stage of running the whole thing and really just making sure it's polished.
Getting into it. So you can actually you don't have to worry about the script anymore. That's built in now. And now it's just
The difficulty is also accent for me because I did have other work like events where I thought, if I embrace this accent fully, I'm going to go on stage
you have to do the
and
accent.
be like somebody else. And it's now that I'm done with all the other events and it's fully this, now I can completely immerse myself into this South African Zulu rural accent
as well.
speaking English. So that's much. I like. There's no more pressure. Like I'm not going to walk up in front of the CEO.
I love the fact that you have to learn to do that.
It is very funny.
That's true.
Yes and no. It's funny because you know what? One of the great things, obviously, is that education has been accessible to all now,
Yes.
and accents are really mimicry.
Yeah.
So if she's a lady who grew up in the rural areas, she would have, strangely, which most people don't realize, is that in the rural areas, which were the then homelands, there was an extremely high standard and competitiveness amongst neighbors about who'd be more educated, because it was survival of the fittest across the border, and you needed a passport to come across into South Africa, and if you were not educated, your life wouldn't be fantastic. So it really was like, you know, training camp for the big bad world. So you'll find most of the rural ladies would be highly educated. They would speak very well, even though with an accent. So it was one of those things. And the city slickers, so to speak, you know, all the people in the city would be extremely, astute. They'd be very shrewd when it came to business, were very together, hustlers, and would think, you know, the rural people a bit slow when they showed up in the city, but it's you know, a little bit
naive,
old-fashioned and naive. So it was a very interesting time with different characters, and I think you know, when you tell a story like this, what I love about the playwright is that she's telling the story of the women who are downtrodden, but also telling the story of a more educated woman, and that at the time would have been this, you know, the professions available to Black people were really only teacher, nurse. If you were very lucky, you could become a lawyer or a law secretary, or you know, but they were very limited. Careers
what
available.
You could do, and it's always been it's a historical thing. I mean, even my folks, Philippa's mom was a nurse. That's what you did. Nurse teacher.
Yes,
that's what it was.
You studied Xhosa in university.
I did.
So you'll get the dynamic in that sense. In that
I did. 89, 1990. Tichalagas. Mzana Sali. Tichalam.
The play is very clever because what she's done is, although the themes are heavy, she is what is it? A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. It's funny.
It's funny as well.
It's very
one thing
very
I've got to
funny.
say to you both.
And black comedy.
One thing that both of you have in common, and that I know from you, is that you both get humor properly. like you know, there's I've always have a connection with both of you because of the fact that you get when I say something, you get it. Immediately. Doesn't matter how many layers it is underneath there. You get it.
It's such an interesting process, isn't it, Buli? Because we started off nearly killing ourselves.
I couldn't be straight, especially acting next to Niqui, who is, she used to kill me. I used to just laugh. And then
the deepness of it hit us. And then the true storylines kind of hit home. Then we had to get over that and go back to the comedy and just embrace that as a subtext. Because if we played it for the heaviness,
I'm imagining that there would have been a lot of times when you just stopped and you said, let's discuss this. See where this is going.
And there were times when the discussions were heated, which is normal.
Really?
But it's good.
Oh, well, yes.
There's a great
Not
deal
in a bad
of love.
way. Not in a bad
There's
way.
a huge sisterhood in this group. We have two men working with us a lot of the time.
Dave, is that Dave?
Dave is
Dave
with the lights.
But I mean, most of the time, it's been the six of us with our prompt, with Danielle, and the props people. But it's girls, it's women.
Amazing props people.
Oh, really?
And we are, and prompt, she's so on top of us, which is amazing.
She knows it backwards.
Ooh,
Probably take any of your places if you left.
Absolutely.
Well, I had to go and work for a few days, so she did.
She did yours.
She did take my place for a bit, and Yeah, now I'm
Okay.
back.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
just so glad we're together. But there is a great deal of love and support.
You built a
and
bond between
I
all
don't
of you.
think the backstage team and tech, we're very
Yeah,
blessed.
who's the backstage team in tech? Dave Limbert is in there.
We
Magnetic
have an
Storm.
incredible producer in Benny Harper.
Benny. Okay.
Benny is our producer. He's the
Alright.
executive producer, and he does our PR.
Okay.
Which is amazing. And he's also stage manager, and he's
Okay.
also making a soundscape for the show. Because if we are on the street in Dubai Park,
Okay, you
in
need sound
Joburg,
effects. And
you need sound. I mean,
Excellent.
it's right there on the street.
do you get the sound of somebody mooring someone else with a shoe or
Yeah.
throwing stuff at each other?
Not
And
as good as you
boom
being
boxes.
beaten with that pool noodle.
With a pool noodle.
And boom boxes walking past.
Oh, right. Okay.
And yeah, so there's all of that. And then there's this incredible group of men and one woman,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
who came in on Women's Day and set the whole show up. So literally, the lights went up. There's Mona and Donna from Party Planners who
Donated a fabulous linoleum floor for
Oh,
that
perfect.
party.
we have the best
Linoleum.
floor. And then they've got trailers.
Yes.
So they are bringing all the seating in.
Magic,
And then
okay.
they've draped the whole venue.
Okay, so
and
it
then-
really looks quite different from what it would probably would
So
normally look
swish.
as well. Yeah.
And then they've created a coffee shop with little tables.
Lovely.
And we're going to have cake and
Perfect.
proper coffee.
Proper coffee.
And
There is Dave with the lights, as you said.
Yes.
Yes.
And
He's
who's
great.
doing
And then
sound?
there's-
So is Benny doing...
Benny-
But I must make mention of one thing, Rob.
And
Let's not
Dita.
move on from the lights, because Center Stage has very generously
Oh.
sponsored all the extra lighting that we needed. And we're
Okay.
just so grateful. Thank you, Gary.
We've
Thank
got
you,
the
Gina.
Gary lights. Okay, it's the Gary light that
The
must
Gary
come
lights.
on now.
Yes.
The Gary lights.
So we're so excited. I mean, just hearts
But
opening
I
all
just,
over.
I just speak from my heart because it takes money to put on a
Yes,
show.
yes.
And I'm coming from a place where I've had my darling husband, who you all know well,
Yes.
and he was sick for a long time.
Yeah.
So he started 16 years ago. And many
Yeah.
people don't know that.
Mm.
So a lot of money has gone on caring because I have had to work.
Yes,
And
yes, of course.
so my passion in life is theatre. My
Yes.
absolute passion.
Yeah.
And my friends all knew this.
We'd never have said.
You'd never have said it, no.
Can't even guess.
But it was Ben who said to me, Rob's do a show. My sister as well,
Yes.
Julie.
Oh, Julie, yes.
No,
I
man,
love your
get
sister.
back to your life. Get back to
Yeah,
your
yeah,
life. And Gareth, my son, wanted to come and visit this
Okay.
week.
Yes.
And I said to him, oh, Gareth, I'm doing a show. I'm in Tech Week.
Yeah.
And he goes, but Mom, I'm your
What?
son.
Come on, I'm your son.
I said, do you want to have a mother who's sitting in a corner like a weeping widow, waiting for her sons to come and visit her?
Yes.
Or do you want a mother,
Yes.
mother,
Yes.
who's out there flipping her tail feathers and doing what she loves?
Yes.
And he said, no, you must knock on and wait for me.
Yes. No,
Gareth.
you come. You know, you've got to make. I mean, obviously for your family, you've got to make
But
plans.
it's
And
crazy.
he can come and join you and help you carry stuff.
Yeah. Benny,
Yes.
Dita, Dave, Goshawk Printers.
Oh wow.
And we've also got the Mandela
Steel
Bay Theatre
Pants.
Complex
Yes.
Oh,
venue
wow.
because they have a festival following our run as well.
Yeah, so they've
magic,
come
okay.
on board.
Oh, they're coming in into Isithatha as well.
Yes, as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Steel pipes and fittings.
Oh, magic.
Gary,
Everyone.
everybody.
But you know-
Even the luggage company sponsored a handbag.
Oh, fantastic. Because
Yeah.
I know they would have known you. They're going to get their money out
There
of
is
you.
there is a handbag that is the star of the show. So
So that's why it's called Robin Williams and Company.
Yeah.
Is that every production, all I want to do
Yeah.
is to make enough to do the next
Of
show.
course.
And I want to build it from there.
Well, I think your network of people that you've got to know through the years will
Yeah.
always help you.
Yeah.
There's
Yes, I know,
no
but
doubt.
they've come on board for this one where
Yeah.
we've started nothing.
Yeah.
Zippo.
And so now you
And
can start.
so now we're getting to a place where we will have enough money to pay the rights for the next show.
That's it.
And so we go again and grow.
Good.
It has been a most heartwarming thing for me to see how my friends have come together and allowed me not to be the worst version of me.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, that would never happen.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it would happen.
Never. Not in this city where everybody just especially for the good people. Never.
I mean, there's not because you speak about Alan and you're speaking about that journey that you've been through now, and that is a
harrowing.
I don't think you can get much worse than
the
that,
long death
than that. So if you've survived that, you got through it, and you are now getting back on, pushing that motor back onto the plane, that's fantastic, Robin. And
I'm sure you know, because I'm very in a way I think it's wise. I made myself very accountable by putting on Facebook that I'd given up drinking.
Yes.
So on this
that.
coming Friday, which is opening night, it'll be 10 months.
Wow.
And I went right through Christmas, my birthday, my husband's very bad illness, his death, their birthdays, all the first birthdays,
of course.
all of that stuff, and I haven't picked up. I'm not sick.
Healthy for you?
Wonderful.
It's been good.
The weight's just fallen off.
Oh, really?
Me. I mean, amazing.
Robin was at first when she was on the show.
Hey. The last we had far too much red wine when we were when Robin came on.
It was COVID and
It
we
was.
weren't allowed
And we went like
out. And I forgot completely. I drove home way after the curfew.
Naughty confessions.
Nobody on the road. Why is there nobody on the
Listen, this confession is going to be seen, babes.
No, but it's good to hear that. I mean, it's part of the journey.
Oh, no, it's wonderful.
Have you had a bit of a cathartic experience with the show as well? What would you say that your favorite parts and your favorite things about the show?
Well, I mean, at the time I was a child when it first came out, and I remember seeing it in the headlines in the Sunday Times. So for me, I was like, it's a little bit hearkening a little to childhood, because I knew the star of the show who played the character I now play, and I was excited. But what made it special for me was thinking about, what do women from that time wear, chatting to my mom about it.
Yeah.
She actually sent me an album with photos of women from the time, like her friends at the office.
Yes.
All of that. So
fantastic.
You got an idea of these professional, educated women at the time, all seated and having a little bit of a... So that was quite interesting.
Didn't it make you look back at those times and think about that stuff as well?
Can I tell you what it made me think was, my goodness, how were they able to be so fabulous at such a difficult time?
Yeah.
That's what I thought,
Yeah.
Because, it's hard enough being a woman, but imagine being a woman in an environment like that. So I thought that was very cool. Love the clothes. We've enjoyed the clothes part of it. Yeah. It may, the funny part of it, when we talk about the clothes, we're like, I remember this. Oh, what about that? That's been an exciting part about it. And we've helped each other sort of get the aesthetic right in terms of what the look. But I mean,
I'm just saying, even just looking at those photos, like you're saying, going back then, and then you realize what your folks, and you start thinking about like what your folks actually went through for you.
Gino, I swear, you think to yourself, your parents did it all wrong for such a long time when you're a self-righteous, obnoxious young adult, teenager, and then the moment comes when you think, my goodness, I'm a shadow of the strength and tenacity and just, extreme strength they had. And foresight, I think about my dad and how he really raised us for the future. Yeah. Insisting on certain things. He raised us for now.
And trying.
He didn't raise us for that time to say, we're just going to wallow. He didn't know when it was coming, but he raised us for the future. Okay. So our parents are like cheap as our parents are like super people.
And what they gave up.
Put them on a pedestal now.
Completely.
I mean, I actually went, I've had a moment where when with my own friends' parents, my folks have died, and and I never really got a chance to thank them for that.
Yeah.
I went around to all my friends, and I've gone to their moms and dads who're still alive now, and I've said, thank you for doing that, because you guys gave up.
Yes,
The moms didn't work. They just all their whole lives were about the kids, and so many times, so it's a lot that they gave up. They didn't go and be selfish.
No, gosh, times are so different.
Yeah.
The damage that has been done in this country through apartheid.
Yeah.
It is unfathomable. We are 30 years on, and we're still scraping the surface. When we look at, silly things like you will get a white woman adopting a black child. And you will get her then having to go and explain to the school, whatever school it may be. I'm not mentioning various schools, but it happens in every school. Why it is difficult for that hair to be coped with in the way the school wants it coped with.
Curl up and die. That's the one.
Yes.
That's it.
Don't get me started on
I'm just talking. And this importance of female solidarity is portrayed in the play. Let's have a look.
We
at this.
are solid, boy. Are we solid?
And in the play, though, I remember saying this to you, Robs. When you think solidarity, you will see it most in the most vulnerable character, who is, for me, the most for women than anyone else. She's just, she's the lead, Rolene, and I just think when you think solidarity, she epitomizes it. Her circumstances are quite possibly the worst, but she is the kindest to other women. But also is a victim of it all as well.
Of the circumstances.
So that's solidarity. That's the very definition of it for me. Everybody else, you don't really get to peel away the layers as much as you do with her. And she's played by the young Georgia very well. Such a great casting, Robs.
The themes, the themes in the play, I see identity and self-acceptance, that sort of thing.
Well, if you think of the period of time, it was the era of the mass action when
but for women, identity and self-acceptance.
I would.
We're fighting. They were fighting still. They were fighting to be recognized.
I think, though, if you think about identity as in who am I as a woman, I think when you look at these ladies, they were all victims of the circumstance, right?
Yes.
But I do think that my character, Dudu, is extremely proud. She's just she's very proud, but I think that has more to do with the fact that she's an outsider. So identity-wise, yes, she has some form of identity, even though she has her own complicated circumstances. And then self-acceptance is hard for all of them.
Very hard.
Because how do you accept a circumstance that hasn't really dealt you the best hand?
Sure. Unfair.
It's extremely unfair circumstances. So self-acceptance, I don't think exists at all. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one.
There's a beautiful scene where Miriam and Rolene, who work together, are left on their own. And there's no more demands on Rolene to be the white madam and Rolene to be in a position of servitude. And they start having fun. They start dreaming out loud. And it's just, it's so adorable.
That's why I say
how
Rolene's,
they could be.
Rolene's the only one who really has scenes where she shows off that solidarity, because that's what that is. That is, she's the only one, and the rest are just really not nice people. But they are doing the best they can.
Yes. One of the
things the best they can.
Their circumstances are making them that.
But the sad thing is, and you're going to recognize these characters on stage because we have them in our families.
Oh, no. Gee whiz.
Oh, boy. It's like Niqui is going, I know that person who goes.
I feel for her. Yeah. But she's so
good at it.
Yes.
She's so good at it.
Oh, my word.
I think the
challenging scenes.
I
Golly.
don't want to spoil.
We don't want to give too much away,
give
but
too
all
much
mine
away.
are challenging.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, To be the catalyst is one thing, but to be the catalyst in apartheid South Africa means only one thing: is speaking up, and that's it gets
calling out,
very honest,
speaking up.
Yeah, it gets very honest.
Gets very honest.
So
Which is what the play was written for. It was to hold up a mirror to white South Africans to say, this is what you look like.
Check it out. Yeah. I see Riza's got a comment there as well. Riza Abraham, loving the energy. Thanks,
Riza.
Riza, love him.
Love. Awesome. I'm so glad. I actually sang the national anthem for Riza because he's head of swimming, isn't he? For the region?
Yes, he would be. Yes, because his daughter is such a good swimmer.
Oh, wonderful!
Yes, it was very cool. Speaking of which, like one of the coolest things that came out of that period, do you remember that was about the time they started to remix our anthem, right before, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
So this is such a cool anthem.
It is all of them.
It's amazing.
I must tell you,
it's actually not true. It's got several.
Can I tell you a funny story? So I'm from. Formerly the Transkei, came into South Africa.
Yes.
And we used to sing the Nkosi Sikelel in full in Xhosa.
Okay, yes.
Thanks for the topic, Riza, by the way. It's full in Xhosa. Yes. And then I came as a scholar into Cape Town where they, it would have been English. Or actually, at some point, there was God Save the Queen, believe it or not, at my primary school.
Oh, my soul.
Moving on. And then also the English one. And then moving to Johannesburg and still knowing Nkosi Sikelel. And then they were singing Morena Buluka. And I remember thinking in my brain, my 9-year-old brain, how is this possible? What does this mean?
Sotho stuff,
I didn't understand. And they judged me for it without realizing that, it's a Xhosa version. But what I love about the anthem is that now that each language is sung, everybody knows, oh, that's what you used to sing. And it doesn't make sense to have so many anthems in one
because we had the English version and then it was the
so uplifting. It really is when you hear that anthem.
It is, when they sing it out.
It's lovely. It's one of the best things to come out of this whole, it's actually probably one of the, although some people have butchered it, it's been one of the best, because it's a prayer, actually. It's one of the best parts.
You almost can't blame people, because we all had a whole version. Now we're going to learn this new version.
No, everybody's that hard.
It's not that hard.
No, it is not.
I've learned it now.
Hard. Except finally.
Finally.
So this is an interesting time, really an interesting time.
Our flag. I love our flag.
Great
flag too.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is a great flag.
So positive things to come out of this show with you guys. I mean, anything that any moments during rehearsals that you guys had real fun, a bit of a laugh.
We had a lot of fun a lot of the time, and yes. Because they're memories, things crept in, things that are suppressed, crept in, which gave us quite a lot to work with. It's a beautifully scripted piece. It's cleverly scripted. It steps. The dramatic moments are at such great times. It's really a masterpiece.
She's a very good writer. She's an excellent writer. And her understanding of the dynamics of each woman, no matter what culture they come from, really she paints a great, very honest picture of the time. It's like a time capsule.
It is.
Yeah, it really is. Moments for me, definitely this is like a highlight. I haven't had, the time to do much theatre. I did like one or two things in Joburg and also before that, I did in the Gale Theatre 1 or 2 things. So my career and other things took over. And then the only thing I've done is 2 musicals since then. So this for me was really just, remembering myself again. And doing some of the things that I really enjoyed in the beginning.
Is it out of your comfort zone a little bit?
Completely, because when you are being dramatic and singing, it's very different.
For sure.
I've had the lead in musicals, but this is different in the sense that you only have the words to rely on, and also you have to really, really think about this character and who they are. Whereas with musicals, most of the lead characters are very famous already. You will have formed opinions over time about who they are. But whenever you're tackling a play, it is a person. It's a small world of a person. And you need to enter that world as opposed to being influenced by a multitude of opinions about who that person is.
You have to know where that person's come from.
Yes.
What the background is like, what they've been thinking before they work in.
That's it.
I actually inboxed Sue Pam-Grant.
Yes. Oh, did you?
Yes.
The writer.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I said, I know you're aware we're doing it.
Okay.
And I said, would you find it cringy to watch someone else's version of your piece? Because working with it has been such a joy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'd make a plan if you were able to come. And she's unfortunately very busy at the moment, but you sent us twinkles and glitter and butterflies and curls and said, enjoy the process.
Oh, lovely.
And please send me photographs.
Oh,
so
okay,
I keep
okay.
inboxing
Oh,
her.
lovely. So you are in touch with her. That's
pictures.
fantastic that
Yeah.
she's made contact.
Yeah.
Because it does
She
make
even
it
liked
really-
one of our posts.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, my God.
She loved the post, and we've
She
had rave
loved-
reviews about that.
Okay.
That was actually Robin's idea concept, and then Betty made it. So
Yeah,
what
I
a
said
great
I
poster.
wanted half white, half black.
Okay.
Because I think immediately you've got the feeling, whoa,
There it
yes,
is.
there it
Beautiful.
is.
There it is. Yes. I
It's
see
so
that.
clever
Yes.
because it's really, really clever. And that for me was what was eye-catching about it. I think it's got people talking.
Yeah.
And she gave it a nice like on Facebook,
Yes.
which was
Yes.
awesome, the playwright.
Cool.
Yes.
I've had comments from the previous cast. So I have a friend who was in the previous Johannesburg cast
Okay.
with the playwright in it. And she played this character that I'm playing. And she was saying, gosh, you guys must have a massive budget, such a gorgeous poster. And I'm like, I was like, of course.
Oh, of course, yes. Oh, very, very. Oh, you
Massive.
don't know.
Massive.
You don't know.
Massive. Broadway, West End.
Oh,
It is a great poster.
It
It's
is.
fantastic.
And I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened the other day? Gary, you know all about these things. That Benny made a video of us for Women's Day.
Don't boast
Okay.
about that. He paid for the promotion.
Oh,
Yes.
he paid for it. He paid
No,
for it.
he did boost it.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
good.
But there were over 5,000 plays.
Oh, good. Good. Yes, no, well, it will pick up even more, take your clothes off or something.
She set herself up for that.
No.
Listen,
It clicks
I'm
on Facebook here, we're
73
talking
now,
about.
darling.
It's okay, Ramsey.
Even more.
Now, listen,
Oh,
can I
my
tell you what
word.
my favorite thing about working with Robs is? She will sit in the audience and every character, as it unfolds the story, she will feel that emotion, and then she'll feel that emotion, and then she'll feel, and she's mouthing the words with us. She's in the moment, and it's the most amazing thing. Like when the climate comes, yes, she'll cheer you on. And what I love about that is that she's literally feeling it with us every time it
The whole
runs, every
thing.
step of the way, and that is how she's able to then, speak into it and say, okay. These are the notes. This is what I need to feel this. I need to, I'm loving that. Yeah, but she's with every word, hey?
Yes,
Make no
yes.
mistake. She's switched on the minute you start to talk. She's also in it.
Yes.
She's
I know.
waiting.
Love that.
I
Love
love
that.
that. Yeah, she's in there. She's in there.
Yeah, maybe don't do it like this, do it like that. I love
Oh,
it.
stop it. So now this is Gary Hemmings. I was a mere 23 years old when I was in a center stage production.
Yes.
And on, let me just
Was that the Motown?
put people in the picture. I was in something called Golden Oldies or something.
Motown? Was it?
No, it wasn't Motown. It was the one where I had to act with Daryl.
Oh,
Crooning Down Memory
Crooning Down
Lane.
Memory Lane.
And
Yes.
I forgot a line. I was so motivated. It was packed. It was 400 people in the boardwalk, and it was my first ever stage. And I messed up a line, and I said, oh, sorry. And then I carried on. And he literally, every time I see him, says to me, you're not allowed to say sorry if you make a mistake. I was a child.
You just go. You
I
just
was
go.
a child, Gary.
I always
So
make them
mean.
go prompt. So they,
With
they-
confidence.
if you're angry and you're ranting on prompt.
We didn't have anything fancy like that. We just had to remember the line.
Yes.
You say sorry, then you say it right.
Yes. Oh my
That
God.
was hilarious.
I know. I mean, Mariloe Booysen was doing a show, that Austin Powers show.
Yes.
Was doing
I
that show.
remember that.
And I remember Cliffy, we were doing a fight, but it was like a slow motion fight. And he completely rogered me. I was gone. I was all over. And my microphone was hanging off me. He was, Lord knows, he was shagging me or something. It was like ridiculous. and Mariloe
That's
came
funny.
on for her next line, and I was just disheveled. I was like, my microphone was sticking up here, and she just went, "I can't handle this." And she was gone. That was her moment.
She cracked. She cracked. No, that is cracking.
I had to apologize and get myself right and then call her on again. Oh no,
That's hilarious.
But I'm glad you guys are having a
Yeah.
ball with this thing, and it's also been a bit of a journey for you guys. It sounds like it's really been a bonding moment, and also for you, Bulls, to get into the acting
I'm so excited.
properly,
I'm
and for you, Robs, to be getting out of this, what you've been in for the past few years has been hard. It's been a fight, and it's been. And it culminated with the funeral and the whole thing, and you threw it, and you threw it. It'll never. It's always waves. It always comes in waves where your people that you love, but your life is now. You've grabbed it by the nuts again.
By the short and
By
curly.
the short and I curl up and dialies. You've got it going, and I'm hoping that it's been the same for Nix and the others in the show as well.
It's hard to find the time to do something like this, but it's been.
It's
a
I
top
heard
cast.
Julie,
This is
I
a top
said,
cast. It's
Very
Yes.
fortuitous,
Yeah. And it's such a joy to work with like-minded people.
Yes.
And we're working on the same level.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, not dragging someone behind us.
But you also you've got experienced cast here as well. So these are people that have worked with different things, that bring different things to the table as well. Buli's a singer, she's out there, and she's
they
an
all
MC.
are, hey?
So confidence is always there.
They
I'm sure.
are all singers.
Yeah, and Niqui as well. I know she's got such a lot of confidence.
Georgia Joe.
Georgia, yeah.
And
Everyone sings.
I think what he
Marilue's
means.
the actress.
Yeah. Mariloe, you ladies are more like seasoned actresses.
Yes.
So that's what I think he means.
Yeah, they got
What I bring to the table is a little different.
Yeah.
Someone asked me the other day, Willie, but why are you acting? I said, who's the most dramatic person you know? King.
the drama.
Where do I belong?
The drama.
So yeah. I think that's what he means.
Yeah, but it's the skills. It's just those skills as well, and just the confidence, because you've done so many. You've had a diverse career.
Yeah.
So that always, I always believe that it always brings so much confidence in whatever you do.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you're going into business, if you're doing,
Yes.
if you're an entrepreneur, if you are, whatever you're doing, that you bring all of that with you, you know, and that makes it sparkles in some way. And I think that the show is going to be fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Gino. That's so sweet. And good luck for your guys, right?
Yes,
as well.
we've got ABBA at the same time.
Yes, we do.
And we
Razzie's there saying,
Razzie.
Razzie say, can't wait, love you all. Thank you, Razzie. And I see Kaylee as well. Can't wait, love you all as well. She's saying.
Hi, Kaylee.
And Harrison is there. He's also saying he's loving
Kaylee
the
went
show
to
as
see
well.
one of the other plays. I think she did. Or was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Marinda Ferreira. How's it, Marinda?
Oh,
Tickets are
yay.
booked.
See you Saturday.
Excellent. I'm so glad.
I'm so
glad.
excited.
Oh, it's going to be
And
really
my son would kill me. But my son is coming all the way from London for my opening night.
Oh, there we go.
So it's so special. And I think it's because they're very happy that I'm actually getting up and doing it.
Fighting
And my
another day.
sister and my niece are coming as well.
Yes.
So I'm feeling a very blessed woman.
Okay, so you're now throwing yourself totally into the theatre and into this thing.
Yes.
And I do have my academy as well.
Yes,
So I'm
teaching still as well. Okay.
Yes. And Robin Williams Drama Academy.
Excellent.
And in fact, as soon as this is over, I've got about 12 people
Good Lord.
doing major exams within 2 months of the show.
Wow.
So,
okay.
and what I'm doing in my life now is training more teachers.
Yeah.
So I'm working a lot of people on tertiary level.
Oh,
So by the time I
Good.
shuffle off this mortal
Coil.
coil, there will be hundreds of drama teachers
I'm
in the
so
Eastern Cape.
glad, because we need that. And also the music as well. And
Yes.
Buli, what have you been doing with yourself as well, other than this? Aside from shuffling off the mortal coil.
Okay, so As you know, 2 years ago we filmed the first season of Housewives, which seems to be moving from channel to channel. So currently it's on Showmax.
Okay.
They put it back on about 2 weeks ago.
Because of all the drama.
Yes, clearly. And I think since then, I've just enjoyed jumping back into my life and getting back into the rhythm of what I do. So there's been a number of things that I've taken on now. So it's more like business events these days, celebrating 9 years of having my own business, working for myself.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, look, I had great examples because, you know, if you really think about it, even people like Gary who have their own businesses for such a long time, and I had great examples, not just the women in my life, but just learning how to, you know, maximize my network, which I've developed. So while I was doing that, I realized I can also play another role, which is to help identify you know, local artists that can be funded, which is what I do. I'm a consulting producer and I do quite a lot of things. So apart from the TV show,
for music, for whatever,
the TV show, I consulted. We won a bid against the 5 other production companies. And I was the consulting producer for the actual bid, which we won. And I cast the show for them. So that was one part. And now for I'm doing a little bit of help for Robs just to bring in a few extra bits and pieces. There are other projects that I assist with. And we really are developing not just, you know, television now, because there is another show we're pitching. But we are developing all sorts of things. And I'm really just enjoying this period, finding new ways to do the work I do, but focusing on being myself for a living. Sounds strange, but it's the truth.
Is it sort of a consulting business, really? And I see this BARC story. I saw you at the factory the other day.
Oh, lovely! You
What was that?
You know, I MC events. So about 8 years ago, I MC'd the sod turning for the bike factory.
Yes.
With all the VIPs turning the sod, and Industrial Development Corporation actually hired me and another Chinese celebrity, and we did the translation thing for a script. I had to write the script. We rehearsed Chinese 17 times. But it really is about honor, doing a good job, making sure things are done right, and I respect their work ethic massively. After the event happened and the minister was there, I sort of, you know, had 1 or 2 interactions with people who worked there, but more from a case of like just before COVID, and things have been quiet, and eventually got an invite to join them just for a tour of the factory since I was there. And I discovered that on the wall, my picture's right there.
Right.
I'm right in the corner from MC that day. And what was lovely about it is that there was a relationship developing that would always have resulted in a future, and the future now is obviously that I drive their cars. I'm of the belief that, you know, we have a lot of amazing people who do business in our country, and we need to embrace them because we've been exposed to so many brands that come out of Europe that it's time now we sort of start to embrace others, even local luxury products or whatever. But I'm driving their cars, and it's just I mean, I'm loving it at the moment. Because
I mean, we always see a drive past the factory there, and you just want to see that thing. You know, at least you want that employment, you want that thing, you want those things. All these factories and the IDC, you want this stuff to do well. You know, how's your view of you know, both of you of PE and of Kleberga? I was going to say Kleberga. I say people say Kleberga. It's not Kla, it's Kla is an X. And it's not there's A. So it's
but you had the joy of studying
I did.
That's why.
Going forward.
Honestly speaking, it's grown in leaps and bounds in terms of how we are now like counted among the places that are seen in the country, especially in my line of work. In the beginning, I was working here and doing like regional reporting for television. Now I'm doing shows based here.
Here as well. Okay, good.
Are you with me? That for me is growth.
Yes.
But also, I'm being booked in other parts of the country, which you understand,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So you're a Gqeberha artist who is sought after in other parts of the country. So I've just come back from a garden route tour as well as Cape Town doing Women's Month events. And I think that it's grown in that respect. It does mean that the local market is sort of has become more saturated with people who are entering it. And that's good. Competition is good. So I think it's growing in my sector, and it's growing in other ways. We have some of the biggest projects based here. Really, our city has a lot to offer, but let's not be confused about what kind of a city is. This is an industrial city.
I'm just going to say.
And we need the industry.
We do need industry. And also we need to remember that you can't be a person who wants a certain level of shiny lights wanting things to happen here. You have to be able to make them happen or seek them and bring it
Well,
back.
that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're making it happen. And the problem is, because we're blue collar, you can only charge a certain amount.
Yeah.
And I know Centre State knows the same thing.
Sure.
If we were doing what we were doing in Joburg or in Cape Town, we'd be making a lot more
money.
for it.
But I think it's all about loving the place that you're from as well. And I know you haven't moved away because you could have easily moved.
Oh yes, I was one when I moved here. 30
There we
years.
go. You could have moved back wherever, but you don't. You love the place.
They just asked me the other day when I was in Cape Town, like, why did you leave? No, I'm
Yeah.
good.
PE is great.
The quality of life, it's inexplicable. Yeah. And also, even if you've traveled the world, because I was fortunate enough to be based here when I was working for the multinational as well. Coke. And the beauty of traveling Africa or any other country abroad is just, whether it's for work or leisure, is you start to really appreciate what you have locally. Man, do we have it good. We don't know how well we are living. We are living large.
Agreed.
And granted, yes, this is not a wealthy city by any stretch because the majority of residents aren't.
Yes.
But we are surviving and we're thriving. Man, we live well. The space, the fresh air, the beauty. You can sit right with the sea, literally not even 100 meters from you, and have a breakfast that costs you less than 100 rand.
I know.
In Europe, you are going to times that by 200 to 300 to get even a coffee by the ocean.
Even in the valley here, it's just beautiful. The bird life, the things. It's just it's in a green lung in the city.
Absolutely.
I think that PE is ready to expand. It's got there's expansion that can happen. We are the place that's going to happen.
Well,
if you look at any other cities.
My son Reese always says that this green lung running through should be our biggest seller.
Yes, it should.
Well, look, we don't really like chojos as brown. Or snakes. Like, you guys can go and pet the snakes in the back. We're good. We're good for that.
A word from Niqui.
Oh, Niqui has sent a video. Let's have a look what she says.
On this Women's Day, we celebrate the strength, resilience, and brilliance of every woman in South Africa.
Let's honour the incredible achievements and contributions of the women who shape and inspire us all.
Today we stand together to acknowledge the power and potential of women past, present and future.
May this Women's Day remind us to continue to strive for equality, empowerment and respect for all women.
Here's to the women who break barriers, uplift others and make the world a better place.
Happy Women's Day!
Fantastic. And that's the show. That's the
That's the show.
Guys, thank you so much for saying guys, ladies, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Guys in the general sense.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for a little advert for
what?
An advert for Buli.
You are evil, Gary.
And another one for Robin. Not waiting
Not
for
waiting
another man.
anymore. Never waiting no more.
Terrible.
Done it.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been fantastic. And on a Sunday and on the Tuesday, obviously, we'll be there. And the show will be starting the very next day.
Friday.
We've got a little audience coming on
Thursday.
But Friday's opening night.
Marvelous. And enjoy, guys. Have an absolute ball. Send love to all the rest of the cast because I think it's a fantastic initiative and fantastic to get you guys out there and going and doing something that you love and for your hearts.
Oh,
for your
thank
souls.
you, Gino. And break a leg on your production as well.
Thank you very much.
Us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to Fitch and Leeds. Thanks to Fitch and Leeds. Oh, we have got a competition. We can do quickly. We're gonna do it, Gary. We're gonna pull the lever and we're gonna see who wins the Fitch and Leeds. We've got a Fitch and Leeds a case of Fitch and Leeds that'll go to somebody that's online right at the moment. So we're gonna see who that is. I don't know how many people are online and how many people have been watching today, but we're gonna put it on. And the winner is Carol might have won between the 90 days. We'll have to find out if she's won within 90 days. but we'll discuss that on Tuesday. We'll see you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic. Thanks to Pitch and Leeds. Thank you, Amovia. And thanks to everybody for joining us. And we'll see you on Tuesday. Ciao, ciao. Cheers, guys. Gary, thank you so much for doing this now. Right.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver. Get to Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Get to Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.